Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Sauce. We are into NFL Week 9. Oh, I'm sorry. That's college football. We're into Week 8. Not skipping weeks on us. We're into Week 8 of the NFL season. Coming off a losing week, however, I finished on a good note. I went 2-0 in the Monday night games. So although last week didn't go to plan, at least we may be coming into this one with some momentum. But yeah, we got Week 8. I'm doing Thursday Night Football here. Vikings on the road in LA. Let's do it.
Welcome to The Sauce. The Sauce. Sauce. Hey, get the sauce.
All right, like I said, we got Vikes in LA to play the Rams. Rams catching 3. Looks like all the 3.5s are gone. In fact, I see a couple 2.5s popping up. So Rams catching about 3 at home. Total sitting at 48 or 48.5, depending on your sports book. Let's take a look at the pie charts, and according to the data, action is coming in pretty one-sided on this one. Over 80% of the tickets, over 85% of the money coming in on Minnesota. As I always say, take this data with a grain of salt, although that does make sense. I mean, I would imagine the Vikings are the heavy public side in this one. So let's get into this matchup, and we'll start with some head-to-head history. Vikings have owned this rivalry, if you want to call it a rivalry. Vikings are 5-1-1 against the number in their last 7 meetings against the Rams, 3-0-1 in their last 4 trips out to LA. And check this out. 10-4 to the over in the last 14 meetings between these two teams, 8-1 to the over in the last 9 meetings in LA. So between Vikings and Rams, if you've been betting Vikings and over, you are cashing out in this head-to-head matchup. But we're not interested in the past. We want to talk about this year's matchup. Sam Darnold did bounce back after a rough game in London. 53.1% success rate per dropback, so he was efficient throwing the ball, just not getting it downfield against New York. Just 203 passing yards, 6.3 yards per attempt, 54.6 passer rating in that game. Bounced back big against the Lions. They did lose the game, but Sam Darnold was throwing the ball. 259 yards, 9.6 yards per attempt, 59.3% success rate per dropback is very impressive. 103.5 passer rating in the game. So Sam Darnold remains an elite passer on U.S. soil. In his games on U.S. soil, that's weeks 1 through 4 and week 7. He's averaging 9 yards per pass attempt, over 63% success rate per dropback, 238.2 passing yards per game, 114.5 passer rating. And that was against the Lions defense, which we know isn't great against the pass. 15th in yards per pass attempt, 17th in success rate, 7th in EPA, 5th in DVOA. Still better than the Rams. Rams defense is pretty much bottom 10 across the board here. 26th in yards per play, 27th in success rate, 26th in EPA, 28th in DVOA. You can see the passing numbers, rushing numbers, pretty much, I mean, not bottom of the league, but pretty much bottom 10 across the board here when it comes to the Rams defense. But is this a little bit of a weird matchup for Sam Darnold? Check this out. So the Rams run a lot of zone coverage. They're 10th in zone frequency, a lot of cover 3, a lot of cover 6, 15% of the Rams defensive snaps have been in cover 6. That's second most in the NFL. 15% is a lot for cover 6. So how does Sam Darnold match up against those coverages? Well, he's been much better against man. Yards per attempt against man coverage, 10.4, down to 7.91 against zone. Passer rating drops from a 120 to an 83 from man coverage to zone coverage. Turnover-worthy play rate triples against zone coverage. So Sam Darnold, as amazing of a season as he's having, hasn't been that great against zone coverage. Now, he has been pretty good against cover 3 specifically, and the Rams run a lot of cover 3. So this is a positive angle for the Vikes here. First in completion percentage, 8th in yards per attempt, 13th in passer rating, 11th in big time throw rate. But check this out. I just mentioned how the Rams run a lot of cover 6, 15% of their defensive snaps. Sam Darnold has been ass throwing the ball in cover 6 this year. 29th across the board in all 4 of these metrics. Now, cover 6, we're talking about a small sample size here, but still, Rams run a lot of cover 6, and Sam Darnold has not thrown the ball well against cover 6. It's something. It's a start. Now, you might be thinking, well, Kyle, who cares about the matchup for Sam Darnold? The Vikings are just going to run the ball. They're just going to hand it off to Aaron Jones. Fair point. So let's look at the rushing matchup here. Vikings offensive line has done a good job creating space in the run game. 8th in adjusted line yards, 4th in run blocking grade, just 25th in yards before contact. Still, definitely have the mismatch here over the Rams defensive front, who have had some trouble staying on the line of scrimmage. 27th in adjusted line yards, 18th in run defense grade, 22nd in yards before contact. So that's favorable for the Minnesota run game here. That being said, I'm a little worried about the Vikings rushing attack recently. In their last 3 games, just 4.3 yards per attempt, 115.3 rushing yards per game, just a 30.2 success rate per rush. And the reason for that, if you look at last game against Detroit, they averaged 6.6 yards per carry as a team. Sam Darnold had 40 of those yards on 4 scrambles. Also, Aaron Jones broke like a 34 or a 35 yarder. If you really watch that game, it wasn't that much of an explosive run game for Minnesota. Before that, just 3 yards per carry against the Jets. Before that, just 4 yards per carry against the Packers. The Jets, Aaron Jones was banged up, though. He left the game early, so we do have to mention that. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is the Vikings run game hasn't been as good as you think recently. If you take out last week's game against the Lions and just look at the Vikings' last 2 games before that, the last 2 road games against Green Bay and New York, just 3.5 yards per carry, 103.5 rushing yards per game, 35.8% success rate per rush. Now, again, Aaron Jones did get hurt in that Jets game. We do have to mention that. But the point I'm circling here is the Vikings got off to such a strong start running the ball, and we all jumped on board. We're like, wow, the Vikings have a great run game. Recently, it hasn't been all that great. That's all I'm saying. And if you look at the Rams' defensive numbers against the run in the last 3 games, 127.7 rushing yards per game, 4.6 yards per carry. Obviously, that's not great. 38.7% success rate per rush. Look, I'm not trying to say the Rams' run defense is good. I'm just saying it is trending in the right direction, and that's my overall point here. The Vikings' run games, they started here. The Rams seem to be slowly getting better against the run, and the Vikings' run game seems to be slowly coming back down to earth. And as far as the Rams' pass rush goes, I don't think this is a bad matchup for the Rams at all. In fact, the Rams' pass rush has been pretty good. They're 10th in pressure rate, but they don't blitz. They're just 26th in blitz rate. And this Vikings offensive line, as good as it's been creating space in the run game, they haven't been all that great in pass protection. Just 27th in pressure rate allowed, 26th in adjusted sack rate. Sam Darnold, much better when blitzed. He's basically top 10, maybe even top 5 in most of these metrics when blitzed. When not blitzed, his numbers don't look that great. Like I said, the Rams don't blitz very often. Look at Sam Darnold's pressure to sack rate here, 34th in the NFL, 25%. That's how you beat Sam Darnold. You put pressure on him without blitzing. That's exactly what the Rams do. Now, we do have to mention that TJ Hockenson may be back on the field for this one, which would be huge for Darnold. If you're struggling with handling pressure, having your tight end on the field definitely helps. That's why they call it the safety blanket. So getting Hockenson back would be huge, but he's never played with TJ Hockenson before. There usually has to be some sort of rapport there, some sort of chemistry in order for that to be effective. And the Rams defense is in good shape in terms of pressuring the passer. Troy Reeder is going to miss this game, which is going to hurt trying to stop the Vikings run game. But the point I'm making earlier about the Vikings run game is not that the Rams can shut down the Vikings run game. I just don't think it's going to be nearly as bad as people perceive. So overall on this side, I think the Rams defense is capable of giving Minnesota problems offensively, especially on the road on a short week. Now let's flip it over to the other side and take a look at the Rams offense, and Cooper Kupp is back. Cooper Kupp will be playing in this game. They are still missing the left guard. That's not new. That's been the case all year. Other than that, they have pretty much all their pieces, though, the Rams on the offensive line. That's been a situation with the Rams, the health of the offensive line. So they're missing a left guard. Puka Nacua is listed as questionable. I don't think he's going to play, but as of right now, he is listed as questionable, so we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, the lead story is Cooper Kupp returning to the lineup here for the Rams. Rams offensive numbers as a whole look pretty solid here. Not a ton of big plays. 19th in yards per play, 19th in yards per pass attempt, 25th in yards per carry. But if you look at the success rate numbers, 5th in overall success rate, 11th in success rate per dropback, 2nd in success rate per rush. Meaning they're having successful plays. They're getting their 5 yards, they're getting their 6 yards. Not a ton of downfield plays, not a ton of explosive plays as of right now. But in terms of efficiency, the Rams offense has been okay. The biggest worry for the Rams in this game is the pass protection. 13th in pressure rate, but 31st in pass blocking grade. The reason for that is Matt Stafford tends to get the ball out quickly, which could help against this Vikings team, but we know the Vikings are coming. It's Brian Flores. They're sending blitzes. They're coming for the quarterback. They're 2nd in 5th in adjusted sack rate, just 27th in pass rush grade, but that's because they always send extra rushers. And that plays directly into the Achilles heel of this Rams offense. They need to keep Matt Stafford clean here. 32nd in pressure to sack rate, so he takes a lot of sacks. Also, his passing numbers look like shit under pressure. Just 6.1 yards per attempt. That's 20th in the NFL. Passer rating when under pressure, 41.7. That's 37th in the NFL. So Matt Stafford really struggling with pressure, and the Vikings are sending that blitz. Now, we do have to mention that we just saw this Vikings pass defense get cooked last week against Detroit. 280 passing yards allowed in that game, 11.2 yards per pass attempt, over 55% success rate per dropback, a 140 passer rating. But that was against Jared Goff and the Lions, and right now Goff is on the biggest heater of any quarterback in the NFL. In his last 3 games, he's cooking everybody. He's completing over 85% of his passes, a 153 passer rating. So I don't know if we should necessarily condemn the Vikings defense for getting thrown on by Jared Goff. He seems to be doing that to everybody. He also always gives Brian Flores problems. In his last 3 games against the Vikings, I mean, he's got great looking numbers. So again, I don't think we should condemn the Vikings defense for getting thrown on by Jared Goff. If we pull up the Vikings defensive numbers on the year, this is arguably the best defense in the NFL, certainly top 3. I mean, I don't even have to read the numbers off. You can see by the amount of green on this graphic, this is a very good defense. They've been great against the run, and they've been great against the pass. So why don't we take a look at the coverage matchups for Matt Stafford here. We already know what Brian Flores is going to do. They're going to run zone, they're going to run cover 2, they're going to run cover 4. That's what the Vikings do. It's a pretty set system. That's what Brian Flores wants to do. Matt Stafford definitely has better looking numbers against zone. In fact, he's been pretty terrible against man coverage. So playing the Vikings, maybe not the worst thing in the world. They run a ton of zone coverage. Now against cover 2, the numbers are okay. 4th in completion percentage, 16th in pass rating, 27th in yards per attempt. So not really getting the ball downfield, but 16th in pass rating, 4th in completion percentage. He's completing a lot of passes underneath against cover 2. But check this out. The Vikings, like I said, they run a shitload of cover 4. In fact, more than any other defense in the NFL. 27.9% cover 4 frequency this year, first in the NFL. Matt Stafford has been cooking on cover 4 so far this year. 6th in completion percentage, 2nd in yards per attempt, 3rd in passer rating. So I actually like that for Matt Stafford. This Vikings defense might not be the worst matchup in the world for him. But we have to ask the question, will Stafford have any run support in this one? And like I said, I mean, the Rams running the ball, they have gotten their 4 and 5 yard carries. They're 2nd in success rate per rush. Not a ton of huge plays on the ground so far this year, but the Vikings defensively against the run, 5th in yards per carry allowed, 2nd in success rate per rush, 1st in EPA, 1st in run defense DVOA. This defense has been very tough against the run so far. The Rams offensive line, although they've struggled in pass protection, they've done a decent job creating space in the run game. 17th in adjusted line yards, 13th in run blocking grade, 10th in yards before contact, but they're still going to be outmatched by the Vikings defensive front, who again have just been great defending the run so far this year. And it actually gets even worse for the Rams run game here. They run a lot of gap concept blocking schemes, actually the most in the NFL. They're 1st in frequency. That goes directly into the strength of the Vikings defense. They're probably the best defense in the NFL defending gap concept runs. So not a great look there for the Rams run game. And Minnesota has even looked really good against good rushing attacks. They played 3 games this year against top 15 rushing attacks in terms of DVOA. In those games, they're still only allowing 4.3 yards per carry, 39.2% success rate per rush. So even when they've seen good rushing attacks, they've still looked solid. They've really racked up some great numbers against bad rushing attacks, which obviously that doesn't describe the Rams. So overall, it's definitely going to be tough for the Rams to run the ball in this Vikings defense. Maybe they're able to get 4 or 5 yards on first down here and there, but as a whole, they're not going to be able to consistently run the ball on Minnesota. We can point at the fact that Blake Cashman's going to miss this game. Obviously, a huge piece of the Vikings defense. He's been ruled out, so there's something. But as a whole, I wouldn't say I'm comfortable relying on the Rams run game. I don't hate the matchup for Stafford, though. I don't like the matchup for Sam Darnold, and I think the Vikings run game is a little overvalued. So everyone's going to hate this one. I'm doing it. I took the Rams +3. I even took a little bit of money line. I'm on the Rams in this one. I know all the comments are going to tell me I'm a moron. I know everyone's against me. Give me the Rams. If you'd like to see all the bets I currently have open, head over to KyleKirms.com and click on Open Bets. You'll see all mine as well as everyone on the staff here. Also, if you sign up for Sauce Network Plus, it comes with access to the Discord, and you can participate in the weekly betting league. $150 on one of these trophies go to the winner every single week. So if you're interested, head over to the website and sign up. Live show, 4 p.m. Eastern time. We got NBA games, skis coming on. We got the NFL game. We got college football. Actually, a couple good college football games too. So it should be a fun live show if you want to come check it out. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, let's have ourselves a good weekend. Please remember to bet responsibly. Talk to you in the Discord.